Hey, it's Desiree Stafford. Super excited to be here with you today because I want to talk to you about something that I'm really excited to talk to you about, which is fear and how it's a fucking thief, okay? Not just a thief of, most people say that fear is a liar, right? Fear is a liar, but it's also a thief of your time. It's a thief of your energy. It's a thief of your focus. It's a thief of your money, right? So it's important that we deal with this because there's so many of you, myself included, no person, I don't care how advanced they are, whatever level they're at in business, no person sails through life without experiencing some level of fear. The question is, how do you manage it so that it actually works for you and not against you? I had an appointment this morning, not business related, but not to this particular business. And, it was dealing with a government agency. Let's just put it that way. I won't reveal too much, but you guys will get the sense. And I left the office feeling like it was a complete waste of my time because the paperwork that I needed to fill out could have simply been filled out, online. Right? It wasn't worth the effort to drive into an office to wait, be delayed 15 fucking minutes before my actual appointment. I was on time and I still had to wait 15 minutes to be seen for something that took like that could have been resolved in advance. And so as I was coming home, I was just thinking about, because some of you guys know I have a background in real estate. So I have real estate properties. And this is one of the things I've noticed a lot, having to deal with the government and government offices and all this kind of stuff. And this is not a slam or a diss against people who work in the government, but it is, I'm really talking about the process and the process of everything taking so long and everything being so slow. And I started to just think about how, there are different types of people in life, right? There are people who abide by a slow process, who almost enjoy the fact that it moves so fucking slow. And then there are those of us who are like, get it done. We're about efficiency. We're about moving on, right? And what I've observed from myself, from my clients, from just watching people as they move through the world, those of us who are the most successful get shit done. We just move the fuck on, right? Those of us who are less successful or experiencing moments of feeling less successful, it's typically because we're dragging things out, we're belaboring things, we're overthinking. The process takes 100 steps when it really can be done in 10 steps, right? And so it just started to get me thinking about, why do people operate in this way? Why are there the ones who move like this? They make a decision fast and they make the decision right? Meaning that whether or not it was the best decision, right? They always listen. They don't go back and beat themselves up over it, is what I mean to say. So you make a decision, you make the decision right, meaning that you trust yourself in that moment. And if you realize the next moment that maybe that wasn't the best decision, you figure out how to make that shit right? You figure out how to make it the best decision for you so that you can move on, so that you're not holding yourself back with these thoughts and these deliberations about what if, maybe I shouldn't have, blah, 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 blah. Because the more you do that, the more you are robbing yourself of your power, of your time, of your energy, of your focus to actually create what it is that you actually desire. And this, my friends, is the difference between success and failure. It is the difference between rich and poor, right? Everybody wants to look at all these external circumstances and think, well, because some people are born into wealth, that's why they stay wealthy, and there is some truth to that, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities for those of us who were not born wealthy. I certainly was not. My parents certainly were not. I have a West Indian background, and the cliche is true. They did work multiple jobs just to make it, right? To get to middle class. And then the middle class mindset is much more of, middle class is more like, we just want to survive, we kind of feel like we've gotten this far and it's good enough and we should just stay here and we should just be grateful for where we're at. And so a lot of you who maybe grew up middle class might be bumping up against your edges, right? Where you're wanting to experience more, wanting to call in more, but stopping yourself because it goes against your values, the values that you were raised with, the conditioning that you were raised with. And so that can be stopping you, and you need to address that so you can actually break through. But you know, there's a lot to be said about allowing yourself to be dictated to, be controlled by, be manipulated by the beliefs, the values that actually didn't really serve you when you were growing up. I mean, they served our parents and our parents' parents or what have you, but things have rapidly changed. And you know that a lot of those values that you were brought up with do not serve you today. And one of those values, in my opinion, is working really, really hard and still not seeing the results that you desire to see. It is, you know, overthinking things and processing and deliberating and not trusting yourself and all that kind of stuff. Instead of just simply allowing yourself to act on the inspiration in the moment, right? To trust your decision in the moment, knowing that you're fully capable of making that decision right. And it's important that you get this because, you know, I'm actually dealing with something right now in my other business where I started looking at how did I get here, right? Because oftentimes we look at our circumstances and we can be pissed off about our circumstances and we're like, you know, wanting to blame everyone else, wanting to let it be someone else's responsibility or somebody else's fault because we don't want to take it on our own. But we need to. Because when we say, okay, I created this, then that means we have the power to create a different experience. But the more you're trying to push off, and I'm going to give you plenty of examples today, the more you try to push off responsibility onto other people, the less empowered you feel, right? So I'm in a situation right now with my other business that I do not like at all. I don't like it. And yet, well, I'll give you some details. I have some properties that I wanted to sell. And unfortunately, I didn't decide in time to sell. I kept deliberating. I kept hedging my bets. I kept fucking stalling when I knew that I wanted to sell these properties, but I didn't act on it. I kind of toyed around with it. I flirted with it. I got an agent. You know, I did a little bit of stuff, but I didn't pull the fucking trigger. One of those properties, and two of them are attached properties, so they're both impacted by what recently happened. One of those properties had a fire about a month ago. So now I have to spend my time and my energy and my focus dealing with that bullshit, okay? And I'm not happy about it. And I am the cause, right? So I have to accept responsibility for that because I simply didn't choose, right? I didn't choose. And so obviously I look at other areas of my life where I make the comparison when I was quick to make a fucking decision and act on it because I knew that this is what I needed to do, and the times when I didn't, and the stark difference in the success, the aftermath, right? Between when I said, fuck this shit, this is my decision, I'm rolling forward with it, and the other times when I'm meandering, when I'm thinking, when I'm deliberating, right? And I know I'm not alone. I know that you've had experiences like this also. I know that you've had experiences where you knew that you needed to do something. You knew you needed to make a decision, but you waited. You sat on it, and the fucking problem got worse. It festered or whatever the case may be. And then you're left with a pile of mess to clean up. And not only do you have a pile of mess to clean up, but that's time, it's energy, it is focus. It's typically also going to be money that you could be putting towards what you do want. How does this apply to your coaching business? It's the same motherfucking thing. I had several calls. This is probably, you know, the whole mirror concept, right? Probably mirroring for me what I was going through or what I'm going through right now with my other business, where I had two women who stood out to me, who were waiting, deliberating, thinking about success. And, you know, I thought to myself, I was coaching them through the process. Clearly, they were not ready, or at least not ready for what I have to offer. But as I was coaching them through the process, I was looking at that pattern of waiting, that pattern of not fucking fully committing to a decision. And it's important that we're able to do this, right? It's important that we're able to do it in our own lives. It's important that we're able to do it when we're working with prospects, because I called them out on it, right? And I couldn't call them out on it if I wasn't looking at my own shit, right? And it's important that we're able to do this for our clients, because these are the areas where our power is trapped, right? These are the areas where if we just noticed these things and made a decision to change them, That is when the exact amount of money that you want to receive will show up. That is when the ideal clients that you want to be working with will show up, right? That is when whatever it is that you want in your life will actually materialize. But if you're not aware and you're continuing to give your power away in these areas, these pockets, and it's, listen, you've been practicing doing this for years, so it's very easy for you to miss these things. This is why so many people will come to me and say, you know what, Desiree, I've been doing mindset work like nobody's business. I was just speaking with someone, I think last week, she had a $300,000 business. And she's been at $300,000 for 2 fucking years. Are you kidding me? Like, she should be over $1 million by now, right? But what was she also doing? Deliberating, overthinking, processing, all of this stuff, not trusting herself, right? So let me tell you something. It's going to cost you. The longer you sit and wait, the longer you sit and delay, the longer you sit and hypothesize, I think is how you pronounce it. Listen, time's not waiting for you. Your ideal clients are not waiting for you. The cash is not fucking waiting for you. Nothing is waiting for you. Life is moving on, right? And if you're at a point where you're wondering why you cannot break through, you haven't broken through to your next level of success, I guarantee you, you are allowing some fear somewhere to hold you back. And you're because you're very logical, because you're very reasonable, because you're very analytical, you think you are justified in delaying your decisions. And that will fuck you up. Because although being rational, being analytical, being thoughtful about things is a gift in and of itself, it can also become a curse when it becomes overused, when it becomes a crutch to rest your fears on, instead of trusting yourself in the moment, that no matter what choice you make, you can always make it right. So going back to my own personal example, I'm not having a good time with my other business right now. But because I'm at a place, I have the presence of mind to take responsibility for it. Now I get to make it right, right? So I don't need to beat myself up. I don't need to take, long time making decisions about certain things anymore. I'm clear of that now, right? And so if you're in that space of, overthinking every fucking thing, if you're in that space of basically procrastinating, if you're in that space of dragging your feet on any decision in any area of your life, stop. Look at the repercussions of it. Look, because this is not the first time you've done this. This is a pattern, right? So look at the times when you've made a clear-cut decision and moved the fuck on, and look at the times when you dragged your feet. And look at the results you got, right? As a result of taking 2 different types of action. One where you trust yourself in the moment and you go for it, and you trust that things will work out because they must, because you demand it, you require it. And the other times when you basically play small, right? When you basically give into fear of circumstance, of other people, of this, of that, anything outside of yourself, where you're actually giving your power away. Notice it. Call yourself out on it. Do something different about it if you actually want the change that you're seeking. Otherwise, fear will continue to rob from you, right? Fear will continue to grab hold of your money. It will continue to keep your ideal clients. When I say your ideal clients, you know what I'm talking about, right? Your next level clients, the ones that you've been afraid to actually go out there and market to because you have this, inkling of fear that maybe you can't really serve and support them at the level that you want to, or when you charge them more, that they're going to require, expect something of you that you don't think you can deliver, which is all bullshit. It's all fear, right? When any of those things are going on, you know what to do, right? All right, so let me take a pause here and let me just go in to see who. First of all, welcome you guys, because I get off on my little rants and tangents. So let me welcome you guys. So Stephanie, how are you? Colleen, how are you? Janelle, hey, how are you? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I do think I look lovely today in my yellow. You know where this came from? Oh, let's see if I can remember. It came from my trip that I took to Italy, but now I can't remember which island I got it from. I think I got this Monterosso. Yes, I did. Cinque Terre. Okay, let's see. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Hey, Whitney, how are you? Hey, RK Hin. Hey, Usa. Hey, Anjana. Okay, so Janelle. Janelle says, I'm freaking done. I'm changing it now. I accept my responsibility. Brilliant. I'm so glad you said that, because I really am glad you said that, because it actually leads to another point that I forgot to make. We always have to accept responsibility for what we're feeling, for what we're experiencing, right? It has nothing to do with taking blame, because blame is different than responsibility. Blame is like beating yourself up. Blame is saying there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. But we always have to be responsible for how we are internalizing what we are experiencing. And what we are experiencing is what we're creating, right? So if you take responsibility without the emotional hook, without the emotional attachment, it gives you power, right? It gives you the presence of mind to choose something different. But when you are always looking outside at everyone else and putting the blame there, where is your fucking power? Look at this, right? When you are looking outside, putting the blame there, where is your fucking power? Over there, right? But when you're taking responsibility and you're looking inside, right? And cleaning up your shit here, where is your power? Here. You see the difference, right? So brilliant, Janelle. I'm glad you got that awareness, because that's what it's really about, right? No matter what happens, no matter what we experience, we get to choose how we internalize it, how we react, or how we respond is the better word, how we respond based on it, right? So let's see. Anjana, I accept it's my life part of me. I'm not sure what you mean, so please get clear on that one. Sassenach, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I am, welcome. If not, let me know. Beatrice, how are you? Yay, Janelle, you just did. Awesome, congrats. Regina, how are you? LaShawn, how are you? Okay, Isabel. Fear itself isn't really anything but a message giving you a place to ask yourself, what actions do I need to take from here? Actually, or from the heart, actually, you're right. And letting you know that you are ready. Exactly. I got to be honest with you. There was a time when I used to allow fear to be a stop sign. Not anymore for me personally. And this is one of the things I help my clients and also even my prospects when I'm on the phone with prospects. Listen, fear to me is it's letting you know that you are at your growth edge. It's a sign to dive the fuck in, right? That's how I respond to fear these days. To me, it is a growth sign, not a stop sign. So I appreciate what you're just sharing here, Isabel. All right. So you said fear is basically letting you know that you are ready, but you have to run. So, oh, you can't listen. Okay, come back for the replay. Awesome. All right. So Regina, hey, how are you? Janelle, yes, you chose. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. So does anyone have any questions about what I shared? As usual, I went off on multiple tangents, but everything is related, right? Everything comes back to the basic concept of not allowing your fears to run the fucking show, right? And it's also about raising your awareness, because typically our fears run the show in ways that we're not conscious of, because it's been happening for so long. One of my favorite people, Jennifer Lewis, she did a video, if you can find it somewhere on Facebook. One of the things that she said is that, I'm going to paraphrase and butcher it, but she said something like, if you inhale a stink too long, you get used to the smell, something like that. And basically what she's saying is, the longer you sit in a situation, the longer you tolerate, the longer you accept certain things, the more it becomes your normal, right? And I know that every single one of you on this live stream today, you have very high standards for yourself. You have big desires, big ambitions, big visions, big dreams. But in most cases, you have surrounded yourself for a very long time with folks who settle, folks who tolerate, folks who put up with, right? And you chose those people, right? Some of them are your family, so you didn't actually choose your family, but if you have been holding yourself back, if you have been denying your vision, if you have been talking yourself out of going for what you really want, all those kind of things, well, then guess what? You're co-signing with them, right? So again, you get to choose, right? But you do it. This game really is about this game of life, this game of business, all this kind of stuff, relationships, everything. It's really about raising your awareness, right? And deciding for yourself what you choose to experience. And if what you're experiencing right now is no longer in alignment with what you are wanting to experience, then you absolutely fucking have the ability to change that experience, but you have to raise your awareness. You can't stay asleep to it. You can't become comfortable with the stink of it, right? And listen, you know, after a while, the stink stops smelling because it feels normal to you. When I was in Nice, this is a funny story. I was in a hotel room and it had this odd smell. I'm like, what the fuck is the smell? And I'm very sensitive to smells. It's just how I am. And I'm like, what is this? So anyway, I called the front desk to be moved, and they didn't have a room for me. They were sold out that night. So I had to tolerate it, open the windows, did all kinds of things to tolerate it. But by the second day, I was like, I can't do this. They have to find another room for me. Anyway, the hotel management comes up, and they smell nothing, right? But they're like, fine, we have another room, we'll move you. They moved me, guess what? The other room that they moved me to, same fucking smell. Because what I didn't realize was that the water system that they have there, it has a different odor than what I'm used to. So to them, it's normal. To me, it was not normal, right? You'll notice when you're really growing and when you're really done with experiences, when they no longer feel normal for you, when you can no longer tolerate them. Right? Now, there's a difference, though, because oftentimes I get on the phone with prospects and they tell me, oh, my God, I'm so over this situation. I can't stand this anymore. I will not tolerate this. And then they don't want to move forward and become a client. They want to sit. They want to deliberate. They want to overthink. Then you're not fucking done, right? So there's a difference, right? There's a difference between saying you're done and really being done, right? But you will get the sense that you're at least, you know, getting close to being done when it feels like this is unbearable to me, right? And you're no longer in that place of, how do I say, you're no longer in that place of complaining about it but willing to tolerate it. You're at a place of, I don't give a shit. What has to change? This must motherfucking change, and it must change right now. There's a different level of calm. There's a different level of confidence. There's a different level of certainty, right? That is when you know you're done with a thing. When you're no longer emotionally hooked by it, you're no longer emotionally triggered by it. You're just at the point where I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. I'm done. I'm over it. Goodbye, right? That's when you know you're fucking done. And you're ready to call in whatever it is that you say that you're ready to call in. When you're still emotionally hooked to it, when you're still feeling bad about yourself or beating up on yourself, angry at other people, looking outside of yourself, you're still stuck there. You're still feeding off of those experiences in some way, shape, or form. And you need to figure out what that is so you can choose if you want to release it or not, right? So I think it was Isabel who said, well, we were talking about fear. But I would actually go as far as to say any emotion that we experience is simply feedback, right? It's simply letting us know where we actually are. It is not about judging yourself right or wrong. It's not about shaming yourself. It's not about beating up on yourself. It's none of that. It is just feedback to let you know where you are in your process, where you are in, you know, whether or not you're actually done with a thing or you're not. Make sense? All right, so let's see. So Janelle says, channeling that crap towards what? Wait. Okay, awesome. So Janelle says, channeling that crap towards what she does want. Brilliant, brilliant. Which is another reason why it's so important that we don't let our fears rob us, right? Because they're robbing us of the time, of the attention, of the energy, of the focus, of all of the stuff that we could be using toward manifesting what we do actually want to create. So brilliant, Janelle. All right, so Regina says, you're doing well, thank you. Being blessed by me today. Awesome, awesome. She says, your words are life today. Keep talking, thank you. Joanne is here. Hey, Melissa, yes, awesome. What are you yesing about? I would love to hear. And by the way, Melissa, you were on my mind today. So I'll post something in the group and I'll share with you what's going on, what I was thinking about for you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments or feedback before I go, though? Questions, comments, feedback, anything before I go? If you guys like tea, I have this new ginger tea. It's pretty awesome. What was I going to say? If you're wanting to create some change, like let's say, for example, 2017 was kind of like, but you want 2018 to be the year that you set your motherfucking soul on fire. And I'm talking about in terms of cash. I'm talking about in terms of your self-expression and your creativity. I'm talking about in terms of the level of clients that you're serving. I'm talking about in terms of the packages and programs that you're putting out there. I'm talking about your overall quality of life. If you want that to be significantly better than it was this year, then reach out to me. Go to DesireeStafford.com/session. Let's talk about how we can create a plan for you to do that. Because listen, the women that I work with right now already are blowing up, and there are others who are on the verge of blowing up something fucking fantastic and awesome. And if you know that you are also on the verge, you're also at your edge, and you're also ready for that, then let's do this, right? Going back to what I've been saying this entire live stream, you know, don't let fear rob you. If you know this is what you want, if you know you're passionate about it, if you know you will not let anything stop you, you know that you're 110% focused and committed to getting there, and you just need some support to make a couple of tweaks to allow you to get there with ease, let's talk, right? DesireeStafford.com/session to do that. Now, before I wrap up, any other questions before I go? So Melissa says, get out of your own way. Awesome. Yes. Yes. That's essentially what we're talking about here, right? The thing is, you got to know that you're the one in your own way, right? You can't think that it's anybody else. You can't think that, you know, it's because the gurus are getting all of the attention. You can't think it's because, you know, clients are indecisive, or because people don't have the money, or because whatever your because might be, right? You have to realize that it is you. Always. You are the source. It's why I say in almost all of my posts, I end with, you are the power always, because you are. And when we realize that, when we understand that, when we embrace that, when we act from that knowing, that's when our results change, right? But when we act like it's about everyone else, it's because of our external circumstances, because of all this other shit that we have no control over, then guess how we end up feeling? We feel completely disempowered, and we feel completely out of control. And for powerhouses, that's not going to work, right? You are a powerhouse because you are the focus point, or the lotus point. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you are the center of control, right? Those are the words I'm trying to encapsulate in a phrase, and I don't know if I'm using the phrase right. But you are the source of all power in your life. You are the source of all creation in your life. You have to own that. So that means you got to own the good and the bad. You have to own the awesome shit you create, and you have to own the not so great shit that you create. It's not about being good or bad, right or wrong. It's about understanding that you have the power, the awesome power to create. That's what it's about, right? And if you can create stuff you don't like, guess what it means? It means you can create stuff that's fantastic. You can create the stuff that you have been wanting to create for years, but you have been running away from because you didn't trust yourself in the moment. You didn't think that you were big enough. You didn't think that you were good enough. You didn't think you were worthy enough. You didn't think whatever enough, that you were whatever enough. Or you thought that you were too much of something that was deemed not good. So maybe you thought you were too direct, you were too harsh, you were too bold, you were too expressive, you were too ambitious, you were too whatever the case may be, right? So all of this is about taking responsibility. If you want to experience the level of success that you say that you want, notice what I said, the level of success that you say that you want, because a lot of people give lip service to wanting to get to the next level, but they're not really willing to do the work to get there. And when I say work, you all know that I do not mean, you know, posting 24/7 or becoming a content machine or spending tens of thousands of dollars on ads or doing any of the other things that people are telling you are required in order to get to your next level. I am talking about the real work, the work that allows you to receive at a higher level, the work that, and when I say receive at a higher level, I mean cash at a higher level, higher caliber clients who fucking pay on time or who pay in full, who are a joy to work with. This is what I mean by receiving. Also receiving in your personal life, from your man, from your friends, from your kids, from your family, right? Receiving at a higher level. That's what you're like, that's why you guys are here. That's why you're watching this live stream, because there are areas in your life and in your business where you are not allowing yourself to receive, right? And it can't be, but for some fear that you're holding on to that says you can't, it's not okay. I actually, gosh, this is going so much longer. My live streams are like, I don't know, like these are like extremely valuable because I take you guys everywhere. Today, I had a realization about, I mean, I am able to receive at a much higher level than I ever was able to receive before. I'm just gonna put that out there, which is why my business is doing so well now. And it's going to be even better the rest of this year, I'm not waiting in 2018, the rest of this year and next year. Come on now. Anyway, because time, I'm creating in the moment. You are all creating in the moment, right? Anyway, I had a realization today about a misguided belief that I had growing up. And the misguided belief was that it wasn't okay for me to receive, because receiving made me weak. Receiving made me vulnerable. Receiving meant that I was indebted to other people. And I never wanted that experience. I didn't like feeling that I owed someone something if I took from them. But also, I was conditioned to believe that it was always better to give than receive. So, for me to be a strong, independent woman, my role is to give, not to receive. Fucking bullshit, right? But I didn't know that. I didn't know that for most of my adult life. And, I had an experience today that really brought up for me the contrast between where I used to be and where I am today, and how easy it is for me to receive today, where it used to be such a struggle for me. When people who knew me and loved me and cared about me would offer to give me something, I literally felt resistance in my body to taking from them, because it made me feel wrong. It made me feel bad. It made me feel weak. It made me feel vulnerable, right? So I am not that way today. I will take your money. Now, listen, I give, completely more than what I wouldn't say more than what I receive. I wouldn't say that, because I don't think it's an integrity to give more than I actually receive. But what I give is certainly worth what my clients invest to work with me. Because, you guys, if you go down my personal profile, you'll see that I talk all the time about the awesome results my clients are getting, the full pay 10K sales and the 60K days and all this kind of stuff, and the 45K sales and the 50K months and the this and the that, right? But let me tell you something. What I take the most pride in, because I do take pride in those results, I take pride in seeing powerful women actually wield their power monetarily and be able to call that in. But I also take a lot of pride in the other internal shifts that these women get to experience, the mental and the emotional freedom that they get to experience for themselves, the unleashing of who they actually were born to be, instead of pushing it down, instead of stifling themselves, instead of basically parading around like a Stepford wife to appease everyone else, right? And when they transition out of that and they get to just be themselves, to me, to get to witness that could almost bring me to tears. I just stop myself for a second, because it's an amazing thing to get to watch other women flourish in that way, right? So, I know what my mission is. Yes, my mission is to help people, unleash the cash that's there waiting for them, like allow it to come in, but it's also to, be able to be a choice in life, to be able to be a choice in their relationships, to be able to be a choice with who they work with or who they don't work with, when they work or when they don't work, like all those kind of things. And to, to feel a sense of peace within themselves. As someone myself who has struggled for so long to feel at peace and at ease with myself, because I felt vilified. And again, I'm owning responsibility for my internalization of experiences. And at the same time, I can't dismiss the fact that that's how I felt for so many years. And that is what I know many other powerhouses have experienced, because that's what they share. That's what comes up in our sessions and things like that. And to have them do a complete 360, right? And get to show up fully embodied as the women they were born to be and feel good about it. Because we're high performers, so we can perform, we can show up and we can get shit done. But if internally you're not feeling good about who you are, if internally you're judging yourself because you felt judged by other people, that doesn't feel good and you won't be able to sustain your success, right? If you want sustainable success, if you want to be able to continue to scale over and over and over again, you want to stop bumping your head up against 5 to 20K months, then guess what? You also need to be doing this internal work. So remember the woman that I shared with you earlier in the live stream, who she had a $300,000 business currently. She's been at that level for 2 years. To me, that's a long time to be at the same level. But apparently she's, comfortable there. That's what it came, because she didn't become a client. So, I did my coaching around where she was allowing herself to play small or to stay small, and she chose to do so. And listen, that's where some people are. Remember what I said before about you're either done or you're thinking about being done. She was still more on the lines of thinking about being done, and that's her prerogative, right? Our job is never to drag anyone into our programs. Our job is never to want for our clients to have, our job is never to want our clients' success more than they want their own success. And if she's comfortable at that place, even though she doesn't like it, then that is her reality, that is her journey, and that is up to her to figure out and break through. I forget why I brought her up though. I think I was going along with the point of, oh yes, doing the internal work, because as we were ending the call, she said that she was going to focus more on marketing. And I'm like, then you didn't get anything out of this entire session, because if you think that only focusing on your marketing is going to change your results, you're mistaken. It's the reason why you're at the same level for 2 years in a row, because you're thinking that all you need to do is the external work. You're not willing to do the internal work, then guess what? The external will stay the same. It will stay where you're getting by, where you're able to make enough to cover your expenses, you're able to make enough to cover your salary, but you're not able to make enough to fully experience your next level of genius, to live a life as big as your purpose, to basically live up to your fucking potential, right? And you guys always get to decide whether you're going to go for more or you're going to sit back and settle. My job as, you know, as someone who's a coach and mentor, a catalyst, essentially, my job is to bring awareness. My job is to give you guidance. Your job as the client is to do the work. I can't force that on you. Same thing with a prospect. I can't force it on somebody. So listen, I gave you guys a lot of value today. So Whitney says, quit yelling at me. Listen, you know I'm not yelling at you. You know I love you, but this is also stuff that you need to hear, right? So I'm glad that it's resonating with you. Hey, Nadia, how are you? So listen, I hope you guys got a lot of value, because I went like all over the place, but there's a lot of good stuff in here for you to get so that you can get to your next level. And you can get to your next level with a sense of ease, with a sense of grace, because the worst thing you want is to get to that next level and be stressed out, feel burnt out, feel pulled in multiple different directions, still working with clients that you're not feeling excited about, or selling something you're not excited about. Essentially getting to the success that you want on paper, but not feeling fulfilled internally, not feeling at peace, not feeling at ease, not feeling happy, not feeling satisfied, right? And I will tell you that there are so many people at the 7- and 8-figure level who are miserable. There are even people at the 6-figure level, right? Some of you guys are at 6 figures already, or multiple 6 figures. You already know. If you don't do the internal work, you might get some results on paper, and you might get some results in your bank account. I'm not going to lie. You can make money, but the question is how, right? What is the cost of it if you haven't done that internal work, right? Do you want to constantly be looking over your shoulder? Do you want to constantly be scared about saying what you mean to say in the way you mean to say it on your sales calls? Do you want to be in fear of, you know, what your clients think of you or what your prospects think of you? Do you want to, you know, continue to deny yourself the ability to be fully self-expressed in your marketing, right? Like, think of the cost of how you're actually making your money, because it shouldn't be where you make money but you're not happy. It should be both, right? I'm a proponent, and many of my clients are as well, of having it all, right? Having your cash, but also having your sanity, also having fun, also having freedom, also having fulfillment at the same time, right? So I hope you guys got a lot out of today's live stream. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. Thank you. Thanks, Whitney. Awesome. All right, so listen, I hope you guys got a lot of value. If you have, and you want my support with getting to your next level in 2018 with the ease, with the grace that you desire, finally, like you're tired of working so fucking hard for your money, check me out at DesireeStafford.com/session. Until we do speak, I hope you're up to big, bold things in your life and your business. Take care.